Okay, we're going to talk about penalties for judges and lawyers giving disinformation. Okay, if you remember my last video, I was talking about, oh, let's see, take a quick look where I left off. Ethics violations. Ethics violations in politics, the law, and the workplace. Okay, so that kind of, everything I post, they all interconnect. Okay, but usually ethics violations consist of disinformation, and disinformation is just lying. They'll lie to you. And that usually comes in violating the letter of the law. And there's penalties for violating the letter of the law. And the letter of the law requires everything that is written to be done word for word to the letter and the spirit of the law, so that nobody can misinform you or give you disinformation. Okay, both lawyers and judges face significant penalties for giving disinformation, with consequences ranging from professional sanctions to criminal charges like perjury and contempt of court. Penalties depend on the severity of the action and whether it occurred in a professional or public capacity. Penalties for lawyers. Lawyers are governed by state ethical rules, often based on the American Bar Association model rules of professional conduct. Disinformation can lead to severe consequences. Professional discipline. State bar associations can initiate disciplinary proceedings which may result in public or private reprimand, suspension, and of their law license, and in severe cases, permanent disbarment. That's why I told you that you got to go over the rules of professional conduct and the code of judicial conduct, because that essentially is what gives you effective assistance counsel guaranteed in the Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution. And any violation of the rules of the codes, is misconduct, and it's mandatory to report misconduct in the rules and the codes. Failure to report that misconduct is misconduct. That's deprivation of rights, violating the rules or the codes, and that's always done willingly and intentionally, thus violating the oath. And there's penalties behind violating the oath. Okay, court sanctions. Judges can impose fines, adverse cost orders, make adverse interferences, negative conclusions against lawyers who mislead the court, present frivolous claims, or submit false evidence. For example, lawyers using AI to generate non-existent case citations have faced substantial fines and public exposure. Malpractice suits. If a lawyer's misinformation causes a client substantial financial harm or other damage, the client can sue for legal malpractice. Criminal charges. Intentionally making false statements under oath in a formal context constitutes perjury. A felony offense punishable by fines and imprisonments. Lawyers can be held in contempt of court for actions that disrupt the court's normal process or disobey lawful orders. reputational damage. Lawyers involved in spreading known disinformation often face public scrutiny, shunning by prominent firms, and loss of future employment opportunities. Penalties for judges. Judges must adhere to strict ethical standards outlined in the Code of Judicial Conduct. And you'll be surprised when you read the Code of Judicial Conduct how so much of that doesn't happen. Their accountability and maintained through specific oversight bodies. Judicial conduct commissions. Most states have commissions or disciplinary boards that investigate complaints against judges. Just Google Code of Judicial Conduct complaint form, and that'll lead you to where you need to go. If misconduct is found, the judge may face a reprimand, mandatory training, or even suspension or removal from office. Impeachment removal. In some jurisdictions, judges can be removed through legislative impeachment process or by voters for elected judges. Appeals process. If a judge's bias or reliance on incorrect information is believed to have affected a decision, the ruling can be challenged in a higher court, which has power to review, overturn the decision, which is usually done through a writ of habeas corpus. Or if you wanted to go back to the same court, you can file a motion to quash, and that'll force it to go back to the same court, and the judge will have to acknowledge their malfeasance in their own court. They'll have to judge themselves for violating the rules of professional conduct and the Code of Judicial Conduct. Criminal charges. Like anyone else, judges are not immune to criminal prosecution for illegal acts such as perjury. Judicial immunity generally protects judges from most lawsuits when they are acting in their official judicial capacity, but does not shield them from disciplinary actions for criminal charges for intentional misconduct. And that intentional misconduct is violating the Code of Judicial Conduct as well as the rules of professional conduct, allowing lawyers to violate the rules of professional conduct, So, entertain yourself, educate yourself, open your eyes to open your mind. You're going to have to ignore, forget what you heard, what you think you know, to know exactly how things are supposed to work. Okay, and the way the things are supposed to work in a court of law is in the rules of professional conduct and the Code of Judicial Conduct. It's that simple, it's that easy. Okay, if you can understand what I'm saying, you can understand the rules of professional conduct and the Code of Judicial Conduct. And any lawyer or judge trying to tell you that what you read doesn't mean what you think it means, that's disinformation. That's violating the letter of law, and there's penalties for both disinformation and violating the letter of the law, as well as violating the oath, because they took an oath to do all that. Penalties for lawyers and judges giving disinformation. Okay, people, nothing but peace and love for you, all right? May your Creator always be with you and rain many blessings. May the information I'm sharing with you be those blessings. I wish you nothing but a long life and good health, and you can have that. We can change the system together. If we can just get everybody to live up to the oath, abide by the law, enforce the law, and see to it that everybody that violates these laws face the penalties. It's accountability you want, and I'm showing you the laws, the penalties, and it's up to you to start demanding accountability. You have a good night.